Hey everyone, thanks for joining Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and in today's video, I've got a brand new game coming to Kickstarter called Drop Bears. This is a new one from Platypus Industries. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly half an hour to an hour to play, and is a fully cooperative game where all the players are working together to survive the night. So in this one, you are playing in the Australian outback, and everything is trying to kill you, including these lovely looking little drop bears that fall from the trees and rip you limb from limb, munching on the remains. So in this one, you play as campers that have chosen a poor campsite, and as night falls, so do the drop bears, and they start picking on you and eating your fellow campers. So you must work together to survive the night. You'll explore the Australian outback, trying to find different important items and utilities you can use to help you along the way. And it's not just about survival. You need to be able to manage all kinds of different things out here, including getting survival points that you're going to get by doing different actions and endeavors. And then you're going to have to choose whether to save them or spend them to activate special abilities and those precious rerolls that you will probably be needing as the drop bears try to tear you limb from limb. So in this video, I'm going to take you through the main features of the game and then show you a sample turn and give you a good idea how this one plays. I'll also have a link up in the top corner if you'd like to check out a full playthrough video where I will be playing through the first, middle, and end few turns to show you how the game plays and progresses a little bit more. So as always, in these videos, this is a prototype, so all the materials are subject to change and it'll look a lot better in the final production copy. One important thing I do want to point out specifically are the tiles. The prototype tiles printed very, very dark, and in the actual production copy of the game, you will be able to see a lot more detail. I've talked with the designer about that, and he said that it is completely part of the prototype that they just went too dark. So just wanted to point that out, as that is very important, that this is just a prototype. All these guys, the 3D printed models and whatnot. So it will represent what the final production copy will be, and for those of you that backed their original game, Ratcatcher, you know the quality that you're going to be getting. So as always, if you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button and subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine so I can continue to grow and be able to produce this content. If you want to stay up to date on all my videos, also consider ringing the bell so you get notifications anytime I release new stuff. So let's head to the table and we'll see what this one's all about. The first thing we'll look at are the different campers that players can play as, and there's going to be 8 of them included in the base game. And with this, there's a selection here that I have: the cook, the cheerleader, and the gray nomad. Each one of these campers will have their own card with 2 tracks on either side of it. The first track is for the camper's health, and throughout the game, if the camper takes enough damage to reach the skull, then that camper has died. And the other side is the camper's heart rate, and if that reaches the top, then the camper becomes unconscious. Each camper's card is also going to list the name of that camper, and then each camper is also going to have a special ability that can be triggered by spending 2 survival points. Each camper also has at the bottom where they can spend survival points to re-roll dice, whether it is a die that they roll or it's an enemy drop bear's die. Moving over to our enemies, the drop bears are going to be working on trying to tear our campers apart, and each one of them is going to have their own card and miniature to go along with it. Each drop bear's card is going to list the image of that drop bear along with its name and its targeting priority for the campers. So you'd start at the top and then work your way down until you find one of these that meets the criteria for the camper, and you'll move to that space and target them. Then each one of them is also going to have a flee condition. If a camper can meet the condition, then they can flee and will avoid being attacked by that drop bear. Finally, each drop bear is going to list the number of dice it rolls when it attacks, and then late in the game, it is also going to have a special ability that will be active anytime it rolls its dice. Throughout the game, there are 2 important resources that campers will be able to use to really help them survive. The first are the survival points, and this is the key to victory. You will need a certain number of these at the end of the game based on the number of campers in order to succeed and win the game. You'll also be able to use these throughout the game to re-roll dice and activate the special ability of a camper. Then you also have utility cards, and these are going to be very handy for the campers. You can use these to potentially flee from the different drop bears, as well as getting extra actions or being able to use them for all kinds of other things that are going to be very helpful and handy to the campers and will be key to their survival. Throughout the game, the campers are going to be exploring the map tiles and trying to find different locations that are going to help them complete their objectives. And there's going to be a number of different ones included in the game, and some of these will have negative effects, and other ones will even be able to help the campers, getting them to heal, providing them with survival points, and all kinds of other things, as long as they can meet the conditions of some of these locations. For example, with Endeavor sites, you are going to have to roll dice and perform Endeavor actions to complete these locations. And once all of those have been completed, then you'll trigger the effects, gaining the survival point and any abilities that are listed on that site. But beware, there are all kinds of other sites, including sites like the Mauled Hiker that is going to increase your heart rate, or the Drop Bear site where a drop bear is going to drop and attack you, as well as increasing your heart rate and doing damage to you. So really nasty sites that are out there as well. The game will be tracked by the Dusk Till Dawn board, and this board is double-sided, so depending upon the number of players you're playing with, you'll flip it to the side that you need. And this board is also going to have the death toll tracker on it. So if you ever lose a camper, this is going to move this gauge up, and if you ever get to the point where you have one more camper than the number of players, then the game is over and the players have lost. This is also going to track the rounds in the game, and there are going to be 8 rounds consisting of 2 turns per round. And these are going to be broken into 2 sections, the early stage of night and the late stage of night with the red spots. These are going to have different effects on the drop bears depending upon which stage that they're in, as well as the campers will gain additional survival points at certain points throughout the game, and they'll gain more survival points late in the night. And once the track reaches the sunrise, the game is over, and you'll have to determine if the players win or not based on the number of players and the number of survival points that is needed. If they have met that and they have not gone over their death toll limit, then the players have won. Otherwise, the players have lost and have succumbed to the drop bear's feeding frenzy. All right, and the last thing I want to do is show you a sample turn in action to give you a good idea how this game plays. So again, each turn is going to be broken down into the campers phase and then the drop bear phase. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the campers phase. I'm going to move this gauge down, and then for this particular phase, each one of my campers will gain a survival point. So I'll give each one of them that. And then it'll move into the camper's turn, where the camper that has the survival expert token will be the first one to go. So during a camper's turn, they get to perform 2 actions from a list of different actions, and they can only perform each action once. So even if they spend a card to get another action or whatnot, you can never perform that same action again. So with my gray nomad here, I'm going to do a scout action, I think, first. I'm going to go ahead and use this torch. This is going to let me, for the rest of my turn, if I run or scout, each new tile drawn lets me draw an additional tile, and then I can place one. So let's go ahead and do that. And so first I'm going to go ahead and do that scout action. Lets me get 2 tiles. So I have a bushland and a massacre site. So definitely the bushland. So I'm going to go ahead and place that there. And then move into there, and let's go ahead and do a run action as well. So I'm going to go ahead and run. So I'm going to go ahead and reveal 2. So we have the other massacre site and rugged bushland. So go ahead and place that there. And then unfortunately, I'm going to have to suffer the effects of that. And because I did a run action, I also have to increase my heart rate by 1. And there is no effect. I got lucky and avoided whatever nastiness was there. All right, and then the final run action movement I get is a creepy billabog and a blackberry bush. So I'll go with the blackberry bush. That's not quite as devastating as that, so move there, and then that is going to deal a wound to me. And I'm going to go ahead and also spend my meat pie to take an additional action. And I'm going to use that to rest. And that'll let me recover reduce my heart rate by 1, as it is important to keep that low. All right, so that'll finish off my turn with the Gray Nomad. So I'll move over to my influencer to take her turn now. And she's going to spend her first action to do a scout, and I'm just going to move her down 1 here to this location. And then I'm going to take an endeavor action. That lets me roll a d6. If I get equal to or higher than the value on there, I can place a token. And if I've placed all or covered up all those points, then I can benefit from that. So I was successful with a 4. So I'm going to go and place an X over the first 4 plus. And with this one, when I complete it, it lets campers search and keep 2 food items from the utility deck, as well as each camper that's there will also gain a survival point. So that is going to be key for us getting all of that. Now, she does have a couple of extra cards at this point, but I think I'm good there. So I'm going to go ahead and end her turn as I've performed the 2 actions. Now, important thing to point out is that you must perform the two actions of your choice with each one of the campers, so that you do have to do that. All right, so that will finish off the camper's turn. Then this is going to move up to the drop bear turn. And so we are going to activate the drop bear that's out right now. And so he has a range of 1 space. So if there was any campers around his space, he would move there and then attack them. If there are not, then he simply is going to go back up into the trees and hide out. And then the next time it comes down to the drop bears, then he gets to drop on any one of the campers based on his criteria. So with Mungo here, he is going to target the camper that has suffered the greatest number of wounds, which right now our campers are tied. So we'd move on down to the next one, the camper with the greatest number of food items, which is going to be her, as she is the only one with food items. So he would drop onto her space and attack her. And then with his attack, he actually rolls 4 dice, so that is super nasty. So once his turn is done, then we would move back and move the gauge again, and we're back into the camper's turns, where the influencer would be passed to the next player in clockwise order, and they would take their turn. And this is going to continue going until the end of the game, or if we lose too many campers, which right now with me playing with 2 campers, if I lose 3 campers, then the game is over and I've lost. So I got to be careful about that as well. So I hope you found this video helpful in deciding on whether or not this is one you want to back on Kickstarter. If you have any questions or comments, please post those in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. You can also swing by the Kickstarter's main page in the comment section and drop any questions you have there as well. I'm sure the creator would love to hear from you and is more than happy to answer any questions you have. Until next time, I'll see you later.